Good evening. You're watching State of Business on RTV and I'm Rukshi Panditharatna. Let's take a look at the headlines first. Mihin Lanka employs opposes compensation plan. Fitch maintains stable outlook on Sri Lanka's telecom sector. Now the news in detail. The trade union of Mihin Lanka says that the workers are not properly informed of the future course of action to be taken on them. Convening a media briefing in Colombo, the employees said even the compensation plan proposed by the management is not adequate. Recently, the authorities announced that the services of Mihin Lanka will be discontinued from 30th of this month. At present, 300 employees are serving at the airline and 10% of them were absorbed into Sri Lankan Airlines, and for the others, the management has proposed a compensation plan.
ජෙනරල් ස්ටාෆ් එකට තියෙන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් රුපියල් 15000න් පටන් අරගෙන රුපියල් 40000 විතර නිකම් සැලරි ස්කේල් එකක් තියෙන්නේ. මිඩල් සැලරි එක 30000 කියලා ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඒ ස්ටාෆ්ට හම්බෙන්නේ අවුරුදු 9ක් වැඩ කරපු කෙනෙක්ටත් හම්බෙන්නේ ලක්ෂ 6ක් වගේ පඩියක් හම්බ වෙන්නේ. ඒතර ඒකිනුත් 116ක් ඒගොල්ලෝ අයින් කරනවා ටැක්ස් එක විදිහට. ඒකත් තියාගෙන හම්බෙන්නේ. ඒතකොට අපි අහන්නේ ඇත්තටම දැන් අපේ තරුණ කාලේ අපි මේ ආයතනය වෙනුවෙන් වැය කරලා ඉවරයි. අපි දැන් අපි බහුතරයක් ගත්තාම කොන්ට්‍රැක්ට් ස්ටාෆ් ඉන්නේ. අපි ආයතනය ගැන සම්පූර්ණ බලාපොරොත්තු දියන් වැඩ කරේ. අපි ලොකු කැපකිරීමක් කරලා අපි ඉන්නේ. ඒතර එහෙම කරපු කෙනෙක්ට ඒක කොච්චර සාධාරණද කියලා තමයි අපි අහන්නේ.
Fitch Ratings has maintained a stable outlook on Sri Lanka's telecom sector, adding that credit profiles of Sri Lanka Telecom and Dialog Axiata PLC to remain steady despite higher taxes and large capital expenditure. It said that the ratings of both telcos benefit from high headroom capable of absorbing some margin dilution and lower cash generation. The stable outlook reflects Fitch's expectation of data-led high single-digit revenue growth in 2017 despite reintroduction of VAT. The rating agency said that the regulatory risks have increased since the new government took office in 2015 and raised taxes on telcos. The agency said that it expects two smaller unprofitable telcos, Hutchison Lanka and Airtel Lanka, to exit the industry. Their business model is unviable given the small addressable population and the presence of a regulatory tariff floor on voice services that limits their ability to boost market share, Fitch said. The Forum for Expatriate Management has launched its Sri Lankan chapter. This chapter is considered as one of the first chapters of its kind dedicated to the global mobility industry in Sri Lanka. The Forum for Expatriate Management is a global community holding networking chapter meetings worldwide to unite all sides of global mobility. The chapter will be focused on networking and shared learning for global mobility professionals by supporting them in their work.
Global talent is required to prepare for and respond to global production, research, development, innovation. This makes it imperative for leaders to carefully manage their global mobility investments and ensure an appropriate return on them. So our mission is to distill best practice across regions, industries, and functions while providing valuable networking opportunities for knowledge sharing and program support.
See you after this break. Welcome back. Vice President and Chief Investment Officer of Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, Dr. D.J. Pandian says that AIIB is willing to provide financial support to Sri Lanka to develop the country's infrastructure further. Speaking at the 16th World Export Development Forum in Colombo, he said Sri Lanka has the potential to become a center not only to the region but to the entire world.
We have told the government that AIIB is very much keen and interested in providing the finance for power development. Government also has given us a project, Sita Ganga hydroelectric project. We have told them that why don't you look into renewable, solar energy and wind energy, which can be easily put up by private sector without the government investing on it. Because Sri Lanka is blessed with solar energy, 300 days a year you will get solar, and there is no cost of input. You can generate power, and this can be easily integrated with the grid. If there is any challenges in providing proper smart grid or a transmission line, AIB is willing to provide finance to develop this infrastructure also.
He said that AIIB is also willing to take part in projects such as flood damage mitigation, water security, expressway developments and port development.
Sri Lanka is aptly placed in the middle of Indian Ocean, and it can approach Bay of Bengal, it can approach Arabic Samudra, so it can really serve as a middle, as a center which can connect people from African continent, people from Middle East, people from Bay of Bengal, people from Pacific Ocean. So how to harmonize, how to harness this geopolitical advantage of Sri Lanka is a challenge not only to the government of Sri Lanka, also to multilateral development bank like us, because it's one of our mandate to provide regional connectivity. We are also ready to look into the port development. And if somebody is taking care of the port development, then the terminal development, the container depot development, we can take care.
Now we have few more stories in brief. The Gazette notification mentioning ceiling prices of 48 varieties of essential pharmaceutical drugs has been signed by the Minister of Health, Dr. Rajitha Senaratne. It will be effective from midnight tonight. Now prices of 48 drugs will be reduced up to 85%. The meeting of heads of Asia-Pacific drug law enforcement agencies will be held in Colombo next week. Over 100 delegates from law enforcement agencies and United Nations will attend the event. UN Office on Drugs and Crime organizes this meeting annually. These details were revealed during a media conference in Colombo today. CEB Office Employee Service Independent Union staged a protest in front of CEB head office in Colombo this afternoon. They urged the authorities to implement directives issued by the ministry following a meeting of Power and Renewable Energy Deputy Minister. See you after this break. Let's take a look at the stocks. The market ended the week stronger on the back of mixed foreign and institutional interest on blue chip counters. The turnover surpassed the billion mark backed via crossings on Hemas Holdings, Dialog Axiata and Pan Asia Power, with the former two counters subject to foreign activity. Turnover was 1.15 billion rupees. The top traded counters were Dialog Axiata 269.9 million rupees, Hemas Holdings 257 million rupees, Pan Asia Power 225 million rupees, Hatton National Bank 101.8 and John Case Holdings 81.3 million rupees. Foreign inflows amounted to 680.9 million rupees, whilst foreign outflows totaled to 447.1 million rupees. Let's take a look at the day's forex rates. Now we take a look at this week's dealing room operations.
The Sri Lanka rupee ended slightly weaker on imported dollar demand and as foreign investors sold bonds. Rupee forwards were active with the spot next closing at 147.45 to 147.50 per dollar on Thursday, compared with Wednesday's close of 147.40 to 147.50. The spot rupee was quoted at 146.90 to 146.95 per dollar, but was hardly trading. It was steady last week after 2 weeks of losses. At this week's T-bill auction, rates increased across the board. The 3-month maturity went up by 5 basis points to 8.60 levels. The 6-month maturity ended at 9.46 after gaining 7 basis points, and the 1-year went up by 8 basis points to end up at 10.19 levels. Secondary market treasury bond yields reacted to the increase in bill auctions. The interbank overnight call money rate was at 8.40% to 8.45%, and repo rates held around 8.45% to 8.50%.
Thank you for watching. See you again on Monday at the same time. Till then, take care. Good night.